Now that we're done with the sides, we can move on to the back of the head and start off with our no guard all the way open, creating our second guideline. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Make sure to detail as much as possible because we are near the occipital bone. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. We're then going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. Again, sometimes there's still a faint line after using your 1.5 guard, so switching over to your one guard all the way open and using its corners would definitely help. Moving on to my 3 guard all the way open, I'm going to make the fade as smooth as possible near the parietal ridge, and I'm going to flick out as much as possible using my guards. Now that we're done with the fade, we can move on to the front line and start off in the middle, working our way to the sides. You also want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. When lining up the C-cups, I always start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch using the corners of the blade. Moving on to the other side, we're going to try to keep the vertical bars and corners as natural as possible. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe is greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, go ahead and leave your super thanks down below or follow the Instagram. Now that we're done lining them up, we can move on to our Turkish Razor Derby Premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're going to apply some shave gel so that the razor can glide better. Now that we're done applying shave gel, we could go ahead and use our razor at a 45-degree angle and stretch the skin as much as possible with the opposite hand. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. Moving on to the back, we're going to use our no guard all the way open to create our second guideline, and then we're going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline on the bottom. Now we're going to move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We are right on top of the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you detail as much as possible here. Now that we're done using the lever to soften up that line, we can move on to the half guard and erase it completely. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. We're then going to use this lever to soften up this line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 1.5 guard, we can move on to the 1 guard all the way open and remove it completely. Now we're moving on to our clipper oval comb method. We're going to use our horizontal cuts to debulk and our vertical cuts to blend. Now I'm going to saturate the hair as much as possible to get the true length when using shears. Now using my shear work, I'm going to create my first guideline through the middle of the capitis and then match it to the sides. When using your shears, you always want to grab it with your comb and then feed it into your fingers, hold it tight, nice and straight, and then cut it with your cutting blade, and try not to go past your second knuckle with your cutting blade. When you're near the parietal ridge area, you always want to cut at an angle so you can blend into the top. Now that we're done with our shear work on top, we can move on to his front line and use our gold FX to make him as crispy as possible. When using your trimmers, you want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then your hair is going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. When I line up my C-cups, I always start off at the bottom using the corner of the blade and work my way to the top arch. Now we're using our gold FX to line up the back of the beard and make it as crispy as possible. We're also going to line up the bottom of the beard, and before I line up the bottom of the beard, I always lie down my client a little bit so it's more comfortable for them. I wasn't able to get footage of me fading the beard, but I also got footage of me using a razor at the end, of course. Now that we're done lining up the beard, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Derby Premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're going to apply some shave gel so that the razor can glide better. When using the razor, you always want to keep it at a 45-degree angle and stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a super thanks down below or follow the Instagram.